Hi everyone, welcome to Keo Talks. Today's video is going to be about my UC Personal Insight Question essay. I made two videos prior to this video. I made one about brainstorming the personal insight questions, and I also made one about the guide for every single question on the UC application. Don't forget to watch those two videos before starting your UC Personal Insight question. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how I wrote my personal insight question. This is the time to just brag a little bit about your life. Don't forget, you want to present the best self to these schools. Please subscribe to Keo Talks for more college videos. I'll be doing a lot more of that on my channel. Without further ado, let's begin. If you guys don't know already, I'm actually a transfer student, so I am required to answer the transfer required question. So if you are a transfer student, you must answer this question. I recommend doing this first because that is the priority for all the questions. Please describe how you have prepared for your intended major, including your readiness to succeed in your upper division courses once you enroll at the university. I began my journey as a full-time student at East Los Angeles College in 2018. In order to prepare myself for the fast-paced quarter system in many of the UC campuses, I have been consistently taking and completing more than the required 12 units per semester with a B or higher to maintain a competitive grade point average. To finish my major coursework and general education for transfer within 2 years, I completed the major required courses in the summer and winter sessions while having at least 2 STEM courses in the fall and spring semesters. Knowing that I am capable of handling my course load, I will confidently anticipate the expectations of a university student and feel more encouraged to take on the challenges that are ahead of me in my academic journey. In addition to keeping up with my academics, I am also learning the expectation of a biology student. I joined the Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement, a program that aids STEM students in the transferring process to give me more insight and resources for biology major. I took advantage of the mentorship program MESA offered and connected with a biology student who transferred from ELAC to UC Santa Barbara. From him, I learned that it is essential for me to participate in research in order to be a great biologist. Because I completed most of my major coursework, I applied to the USC Summer Research Program and biotechnology research that MESA offered. I figured out how to write a personal statement, cover letters, resume, and curriculum vitae in the process of applying to research and internships. Not only will this help me with future research and internship opportunities, but it will also provide assistance to my future applications to physician assistant school. Through my experience in ELAC and the MESA program, I displayed my ability to adapt to rigorous coursework and my resourcefulness to becoming a well-prepared student for transfer and a step closer to my dream career as a physician assistant. For my previous video, I've discussed that the transfer question is actually relating to your academics and how great of a student you are. For my previous video, I've actually talked about the transfer required question and what to do when you encounter this type of question. It's targeting academia. So you want to tell them what kind of student you are, how are you doing well so far in your lower division coursework. You also want to discuss what kind of skills you exhibit as a student or what kind of skills you develop during your lower division studies. The typical structure you want to have is general to detail to general. You also want to consider your hook before your essay and a concluding sentence to wrap everything together. Your hook is literally what hooks people to read your essay, and it's one of the most powerful sentences right next to your concluding sentence. In my essay, I was very straightforward with my accomplishments. I didn't create much of a story with this essay. In fact, I just wanted to let them know I'm a great asset to their team. Also, I just wanted to note that I did not get any research or internship opportunities while I was in my community college. I applied to a lot, but I just didn't get chosen. I think maybe it's because of my coursework. I wrote on my essay that I applied to research and internship opportunities, but I didn't actually get in. Even though you didn't get into research or internship opportunities, I think it's worth mentioning that you tried and what you learned from the process. I learned about resume writing, I learned about personal statements, and I also learned a lot about CVs as well. These are some of the qualities that you really want to exhibit because you're not just a student who does well, you also want to talk about the additional stuff that you've done as a student or what kind of student you are. So I describe myself as a resourceful student as well as a diligent student. So I gave examples for both. For my hook, I decided to give some kind of backstory to them so it describes my position and where I am in my academic journey and how I started. For this essay, I used my backstory as the hook because I started my community college journey in 2016 when I was 16 years old. When I started writing this essay, I wanted to include that portion of my life, but it seemed too far back and it's just way too much explaining to do. So I decided to just stick with 2018 being my starting year. For my concluding sentence, it wrapped up pretty nicely about my summation of all my points. I told them the two things that I was trying to write about in my entire essay. Also, notice how I talk about my career goals. I want you guys to think about your aspirations after college as well, since college is not your last stop in life. My word count for this essay is only 339 words. The second question that I answered was number 3. What would you say is your greatest talent or skill? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? Students are constantly trying to find a way to juggle with their school, social life, and home life. Although I was not particularly good at juggling objects, I was trained to juggle different extracurricular activities, family responsibilities, and schoolwork at a young age. Growing up in a stereotypical Chinese household, my parents pushed me to become a versatile individual. I took a variety of lessons: Chinese, math, piano, cello, taekwondo, and swimming, as well as taking care of my family during the weekends. Although this was a time-consuming feat, I was able to gain a valuable skill through all the frustrations: time management. In most cases, I used time management to juggle my mandatory lessons and tending to my family's needs. Weekdays usually consist of mandatory 2-hour instrumental and sports practice and an hour of Chinese class. I planned out my schedule so that each day I am able to complete my laundry list of activities. On the weekends, my grandparents and my younger sister rely on me for transportation, technical support, and any hands-on tasks. Because my grandparents are handicapped, I drive them to where they need to go, such as grocery shopping, church, doctor visits, help them with technology, and lifting heavy objects. When I end class early or have days off, I'm usually driving my younger sister to and from school or to any events she may have. On top of all the care I provide for my family and spending time to do my extracurricular activities, I continue to excel in school because of my time management. By continuously exercising my time management skills, I am capable of managing the lifestyle of a student in my dream university. The purpose of question 3 is to talk about your skills and talents. I talked about my skill, which is time management. I felt really passionate about writing it. Before writing my final draft for this essay, I wrote 2 paragraphs of just me complaining about life. Through all the whining and complaining, I realized that there are some key things that I really wanted to include into this essay. I did a lot as a kid, and I strongly believe that this made me stand out as an individual. Also, this skill, time management, isn't a unique talent or skill. Everybody can develop time management skills. But what I wanted to show to these UC people is that I have a story behind my time management skills and how I developed it. I also included in this essay that time management is something that opens opportunities for me. Regardless of the workload that I have, I will always have time to schedule in anything that I believe will benefit me as a college student. If you do choose to write about number 3, I really recommend that you guys look at the development of how you attain these skills. You may not have a good time management story, but what if you have a really good talent story? I am sure that the UC schools would love to hear how you develop those skills or talents over time. I really like the hook for this essay in particular because I feel like the sentence really spoke out to me. I really like the term juggling because I felt that I was stretched out so thin when it came to my responsibilities. I'm not a great essay writer to begin with, but I do know that a great concluding sentence and a great hook is what will draw in the reader. My hooks and my concluding sentences aren't actually that special. The concluding sentence must include the ideas that you've stated in your essay to wrap everything up. For question number 3, my essay was just a little bit short. I didn't go up to the 300 word count, I only went up to 288. Even though I recommend that you guys try to hit 350, I got my point across with 288 words, and I'm pretty sure it made an impression on the admissions panel. Question number 6. What have you done to make your school or community a better place? In the extensive Chinese American suppression in America's society, there has definitely been a lack of Chinese American representation in our diverse country. I sought out and seized the opportunity of joining the Miss Los Angeles Chinatown pageant to become an ambassador for the Chinese American community in Los Angeles to illuminate the underrepresentation and serve as a role model of the community. I am now proud that I have the potential to connect with amazing and influential Chinese Americans and the power to make an impact in my community as the Queen and Miss Photogenic of Miss Los Angeles Chinatown of 2019. As the Queen, I attend countless Chinese American community events in the Los Angeles area on behalf of the Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles. Through these experiences, I noticed that many Chinese Americans were uninformed about the events taking place in their community. I became a representative for community outreach and educating people on Chinese culture through networking and organizations such as Family with Children from China and the Chinatown Business Improvement District to bring light to what the Chinese American community has to offer. One of the most memorable experiences was when my court and I threw an Easter event for children to come together and get to know our community at the Los Angeles Historical Park. I teamed up with FCC and BID to update the children about what kind of people and interesting family-friendly events happen in Chinatown. Besides bringing the community together, I also serve as a role model for Chinese American children. I went to the classrooms of Castler Elementary School to give a presentation about self-confidence and pursuing their career and academic goals. I encourage them to pursue their aspirations because they will be the ones making a difference in our world. Through my interactions with different organizations and diverse people, I believe I can help improve the community by bringing Chinese Americans together and be a role model for the future generation of Chinese Americans. In my previous video, I've talked about how to answer this type of question. You really want to have a strong love and appreciation and a strong story to tell when it comes to writing about the community and your experience with the community and your volunteer work with them as well. For those of you who have a strong appreciation and strong love and deep connection with a certain community and you've done something with them, I highly recommend that you guys write an answer to this question. For this question, like I said, you have to identify the community that you're involved in and the situation that's going on. And you have to find a way for you to be a part of the solution for them. In this example, I talked about the misrepresentation of Chinese Americans in Los Angeles. In my essay, I helped with the representation issue. Notice that I did not solve the issue for misrepresentation or underrepresentation of the Chinese American community. I was just a part of the solution to the problem. I was not the solution to the problem. I felt really strongly about my experience with Miss LA Chinatown, so I decided to put this in my essay here. I know many of you probably do not have the same experiences as I do in these essays. I want to show you that experiences have to be significant and you have to have a good story to back your significance up. In my hook, I decided to use a general statement about the community and its issues. In my essay, I decided to talk about what have I done to help some of those issues. In my concluding sentence, I wanted to make sure that I talked something about the future as well. Through my experience with Miss LA Chinatown, I can make a difference in my community. I'm not just stopping at 1 year of service. I want to continue influencing others. The whole purpose of this essay is to show your dedication to a community and how it affected you. This opportunity affected me because I want to continue influencing other individuals to be more self-confident, and I want to influence future generations of Chinese Americans. In my concluding sentence, I decided to wrap up everything that I've written so far in my essay. I also tied in a call to action along with the summary of what I've talked about so far in that essay. My word count for this essay is 322 words, which is not too bad. Question number 7. Beyond what has already been shared in your application, what do you believe makes you stand out as a strong candidate for admission to the University of California? The strongest candidate for admission to the University of California is someone who is not only studious but also willing to be adventurous and learn what the world has to offer. Because of my hunger for discovering foreign experiences, I immediately took advantage of the opportunity to become a representative for the Chinese American community from Los Angeles to China. In October, I was given the opportunity to represent Los Angeles in a sponsored trip to China from the Miss Los Angeles Chinatown pageant. Even though this trip was in the middle of the semester, I dedicated a week to go on this once-in-a-lifetime trip. I had the luxury of experiencing business dinner meetings and incorporating American and Chinese culture for the first time in my life. When I translated for my friend during a business dinner, the government official from Guangdong province convinced him to move his manufacturing plant to Guangdong due to the abundant natural resources and distance from the loading dock. From this meeting, I grasped the importance of piquing the interest of a company. I realized that in business and in life, I need to make people have an interest in my skills. Aside from business, I learned a lot about Chinese history too. I was deeply captivated by the history of Chinese migration in Taishan because I realized that I am connecting both the American version and the Chinese version of the first Chinese migration to America. After this eye-opening journey, I came back to Los Angeles with a new perception of China and business deals. Even while writing my personal insight questions, I continued to apply knowledge that I gained from this trip. My experience from the China trip lets me confidently write about who I am and what makes me the best candidate for the UC system. When new and different opportunities arise in the future, I will definitely take advantage of it and learn as much as I can. My enthusiasm to broaden my horizon as an individual makes me a powerful candidate for admission to the University of California. From my previous video, I talked about how I really recommend that you guys answer this question in particular. If you have a really nice essay from a different application and you want to use it here, I really suggest that you do it. This is the place to showcase the best quality of yourself. You want to talk about what makes you special. In this case, I believe traveling and my experience with that one trip made me very special because I learned so much from that trip, and I really want to share what I knew to the reader who is going to be reading this essay. At first, I didn't really know what to talk about because I didn't have any other applications to rely on. When I began writing, it was purely from boredom at 4 a.m. and I just decided to rant about my life. However, this question was very tough to answer because I didn't know what made me special. It's really hard to find something that nobody else has done. All these essays have one thing in common. They're all about my life and my experience with it. Even though they may have some similar qualities to other essays, all these essays connected because it was about me. It's about how I did a certain thing or how I acquired a certain thing because I did it this way. I did it my way. In my previous video, I talked about the importance of making your own prompt so that you can answer it. And here, I decided to make my prompt about what I learned about traveling. When I travel, I really love learning about history and culture, so this was the perfect place to put it, but I didn't know which travel story to talk about, so I decided to talk about my China trip which I took recently. My word count for this essay is 349, which is very, very good. This essay was the longest because I really wanted to showcase that I was the best candidate for them. I made sure that this essay was a bit longer than the rest of my essays because I want to include enough information to convince them to pick me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you found this information helpful today. Good luck on your personal insight questions. Since you're already here, go ahead and subscribe to Kyo Talks for more college videos. Hit the like button if you really enjoyed watching videos like these. Comment down below if you're working on your personal insight questions now or you have any questions about personal insight questions. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!